My name is host Eric. I'm the host of Talking with Famous People. Taylor's doing a live stream right now. It's not necessarily about freedom, but the title says, I'm freer than you because I can use my welder better, or something like that. But they're talking about freedom over there. And I was listening some at the bar that Rachel and I just got back from. While Rachel and Ruben and Acacia were outside, I was watching Flow State and listening to some of it. And I participated in the chat some. Somebody said something along the lines of freedom isn't autonomy, freedom isn't self governance or whatever. And I said, okay, well, what is freedom to this chatter? And how is it distinct from liberty? They didn't answer me. Uh, I don't think necessarily everybody who engages there is uh, engaging in the most sophisticated of discourse. But that's okay. I'm not trying to diss it or anything. Um, Thank goodness you're alive. I was tearing my hair out watching a moon landing debate on modern day debate. I don't think there's a huge hell of a lot to argue about regarding it. It's like I find the moon rock thing extremely suspicious and strongly suggestive of something fishy. But there's not any other compelling pieces of evidence really in favor of the idea that the moon landing was a hoax. Um, but it doesn't mean it wasn't a hoax. Slash whatever. That's science theater for propaganda purposes. It's not inconceivable that something like that could happen. It seems quite unlikely regarding the moon landing because the reason it seems unlikely that it's faked. It, yeah, it boils down to this. It's indisputable that humans are able to leave Earth's atmosphere, enter into orbit around the Earth. I don't think there are people who deny that, but there's no reason to deny that. We obviously have satellites. We could see them passing in the sky at night.
Yeah, we do.
Uh, so, in that regard, then why is it so inconceivable that the United States could have landed on the moon, since we definitely can get to outer space and stuff? Well, they're probably, I don't know how long the whole trip took, but it's conceivable that, hi, Show Media. Show Media says the package update coming tomorrow. No. Okay. Well, that's fine. We will get it when we get it, and we'll find out. Hello, Lou. How are you? That's a good point. Maybe. Like, I don't know how they went poo when they were in the lunar module. Oh, they poo in their spacesuits? Oh, okay. Well, if there's an answer to that question, that's fine. I don't know how they pooed. They just shit in their spacesuits, huh? It sounds pretty specious to me. But so the open mic that I plan to go to tonight, that I sort of done various scheduling around in various ways and stuff, it was canceled. There was no open mic tonight, and apparently they basically don't have it in the winter. So that was pretty disappointing. Um, considering, like, I wouldn't have done that extra half an Adderall before at like 5 o'clock if I had known there wasn't going to be a open mic. But I will note that Ruben looked up open mics and saw there's one in Merced on Tuesday, so maybe we'll aim to go to that one. I'll call ahead before we drive all the way to Merced. Merced's I guess probably hour and a half. It's more or less the same distance as Fresno. Well, yeah, boo for canceled open mics. I was Googling it before we left, too. I did find this one thing online referring to the, it was like a hideout saloon. I don't know. Web pages on it. It said Thursday night, every Thursday night, open mic. Well, the other thing was, I had the time wrong. I thought it started at 6 for some reason. It started at 7. I'm not sure why I thought the sign said 6. I may have thought to myself at the time when I looked at it, well, we probably need to leave home at 6, and got it confused in my head, Rachel, you changed your circle.
I did.
What is that a picture? Is it like some Christian iconography or something?
It's artwork from the tarot cards we have.
Oh, it looks like kind of medieval Christian painting, a guy with a halo around his head.
It does. I'm gonna leave it.
Cool, I like it.
Thanks.
Tiffany wouldn't have even asked like what's going on. Anyways, I got there early. I ate some food, but I didn't actually fully conclude that it wasn't going to happen until after 7. Nobody was showing up to work the soundboard or anything. Ruben finally went and asked him for me. So I came back here, a little FI about the whole thing. Because realistically, I had was not just excited about going tonight. I was excited by the discovery there was a weekly open mic in town that I could hit periodically if I felt like it, So it was pretty disappointing. I felt some FI. And felt a little pouty, a little sad. Thought I'd come back here and talk about that, but when I open my phone, the live stream, when I open YouTube on my phone, the live stream I was watching is pops back up, which was Flow State. Watched a few minutes of that, sitting here, listened to it for a little bit, maybe not even a few minutes, but, and then sighed, because it's like, okay, they're talking about, Social Security and legal status of foreign nationals and stuff like that, which is all well and good, but the idea that participating in Social Security is bad for freedom is a somewhat iffy proposition in my mind. It's like, it is the case that when Social Security takes money out of your paycheck, issuing the promise they're going to give it to you later, that you'd be more well served to invest it yourself. But you don't have to participate in Social Security if you, depending on what kind of working you're doing, you know. And uh, besides that, it's like freedom. Freedom is more than just the absence of governance, right? Liberty is the absence of some external force preventing you from doing what you want. Freedom is empowered liberty. So it's having both the lack of external constraints and the presence of particular power, right? Like capacity to do things. In the contemporary society, it's mostly money. So freedom is liberty plus money. When people talk about the government inhibiting on them in some fashion, if they're not calculating in terms of real cost to liberty and or money, therefore freedom, then they aren't thinking seriously about the subject. Like, it's true in general that more government more government as government manifests contemporaneously is a fool's errand, right? It's counterproductive. It typically does the opposite of what it's hoping to do, but not in all cases, you know. Um, what did Who did what to whom and why? Well, what I do like about that channel is the way PlayStation's humor plays out, charging $2 to name someone on the panel with something funny. Eric, is it true you shared the same urinal right after Epstein on October 12th, 2010? No, it's not. I've never met Epstein. Um, Obviously, I was not important enough to meet him. You have to be pretty important to meet that scumbag. In the immortal words of George W. Bush, freedom isn't free. Well, yeah. I tell you what else isn't free. Stuff you buy at stores. And in that regard, I'm the same way. I may not be free, but I'm not terribly expensive. Bill Cosby, huh? Bill Cosby. Proof positive that you can be a beloved cultural icon one day and a reviled pariah the next. All you gotta do is be a scumbag. And, you know, have public opinion change such that your variety of scumbaggery is no longer tolerated. There. I figured out what the problem was. The reason there was liquid on the bottom of my bong was not because, for example, there was a crack in it or something, or I had spilled the bong, but rather because I had spilled a drink in the drink holder and was putting the bong in the drink holder and thereby getting the drink on the bottom of the bong. Having learned my important lesson now about failure, I try to put the pieces back together and move forward. So yeah, time to smoke a bong. I'm gonna be bonging as much as I can here. I want to try to get high in order to soothe my disappointment over canceled open mic.
That's a good goal.
Yeah, it is a good goal. But I tell you, freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose. That's poor advice. You know what, Winston's mom? That, on the other hand, is very good advice. I think I am going to take a couple of little mushrooms.
Why not?
Why not? Why not indeed?
We're home for the rest of the night. Thank you, Winston's mom. Trouble, I already watched you. Doing the magic 10.
Yeah, I put them in here. Seems like a good enough place to put them. Okay. I guess like these two maybe. Seems like not such a bad deal. Okay. Now, if you're like any sane person, you hate consuming these. There's just nothing but grossness implicit to them. But if you break it up real small into like crushed upness, then you could just swallow it with some drink.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let the grossness enter your heart and fill you with horror. Ah. Boo, failure, boo. Okay, well, sometimes you just have to man up.
What'd you have to man up about?
Eating your mushrooms.
Oh. I think you're doing a good job of manning up.
Thanks, darling. Let the grossness into your heart.
Let the grossness into your heart. Oh, your face. It says it all over.
My face says, damn, that's gross. I didn't feel they were fake. I could say for sure they were.
Let the grossness into your heart. Meow, meow. I know you want us to go to bed. Or do you want to go outside?
Or do you want us to watch you eat?
I already watched him eat, so he should be satiated in that part.
I mean, I watched him eat too.
You did? Oh my god.
I mean, not since we got back, but.
Oh.
Did you watch him eat since we got back?
Yeah.
Oh, well, he should be satiated.
Oh, he wants to go out.
I mean, it's. In theory, possible that someone took some regular mushrooms and dosed them with LSD or something, but in no way, shape, or form were those mushrooms psilocybin mushrooms.
Oh, me sorry.
What was it?
It's the live stream.
Oh, I thought I heard something. I wasn't sure. I don't think it's really legal anywhere, but there is a store where you can get them in Oakland. It's called the Church. It's called the Church of Ethnomyamia Plants or something like that. But really, it's called Zydor.
Where you take mushrooms with intent.
Yeah. You have to be a member of the church to get the sacrament.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you guys don't share my religious views regarding mushrooms, it's not legal for you. You're not a Native American enough. You know, they didn't legalize all drugs in either Oregon or California. Oregon's decriminalized a lot of stuff, but that doesn't mean you can open a store and get away with it in Oregon because they shut down the mushroom store in Portland right away. They still haven't shut down the one in Oakland. So, I don't know. They haven't gotten back from the bar yet, actually. Because but the thing was, I got there earlier than everybody else. So, they hadn't been there very long. And then by the time I found out finally, like, oh, they're not going to have the open mic. I found that pretty disappointing. So I just wanted to leave, you know. And I had been there longer than the other people, too. So, right, that was extra frustration piled on because obviously it was like, what was I waiting all this time for? How cute are those two? I'm tickled pink at the idea of another TWFP couple.
They are cute.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. They seem like a good pair.
they do.
And they're very connected at the hip like we are.
Mm-hmm.
You and nobody are the cutest couple? Hmm. So you mean just by yourself, you're as cute as two people come together? It's pretty impressive. Well, you must be pretty cute. Rachel, do you like having another girl around to chat with? You know, to talk vaginas and stuff.
Yeah, it is nice having another female around.
Ruben and I, share cock stories a lot.
Have I been spelling Capio's name wrong? Is it Kapeo?
No, it's
Oh,
I-O.
okay, good.
Kapio.
Capio.
Expansive. No, Ruben and I don't talk about our penises with one another.
No.
And I'm assuming Rachel and Acacia don't talk about their vaginas with one another.
How'd you know?
Just a wild guess. But they may talk about common interests, if possible. I don't think either of them especially. Yeah. One time my cock was rafting down the Colorado River and dragging me behind, And I said, "Whoa there, boy, get back in my pants." And she said, "Who you calling boy? You know that's racist."
That's racist.
Yep. Yeah. That's a cock story, Lou, for the reference. I mean, when Trouble had his balls, I think he was the manliest human
Yeah,
I've
he
ever
was.
met. He was the manliest thing I've ever met.
We thought that he was an ESTP because he really was so manly. Like he was, he would like. At first, he was afraid of me. Then he started to get comfortable with me. This is when he had his balls. And then he would go right up to Pee-Pee to try to hump her, and I had to throw a slipper at him to get him away. He was like so aggressive and like.
He was just bristling with manliness.
Yeah.
He was nothing but cock and balls and muscle and manly charisma, plus violets.
Yeah. now you hear his meow.
Yeah, well, now he's a eunuch, but he's still probably a little more manly than me, even as a eunuch.
Well, he does when he goes after the presents that Pee-Pee brings into the house. He like rips from the shed and is like, "Hey, Dad, look what I did."
Yeah. But Trouble still relates to both of us in a very, like, I'm the head of household.
Oh yeah.
He can be quite bossy. He has his more plaintive moments when he thinks we're not understanding him or something, Would you finally tell me what it means to be from Maine? Yeah, it may have been a men's only story. That's the story that men tell each other when they hang out together. Kind of stories, I like to say I jumped over the Grand Canyon on a horse day after my birth. But if I'm really being honest, it was my dick. He was
Only
just
your
he,
dick?
well, no, he pulled me on, took me along for the ride.
Oh, so it dragged you,
Yeah,
really?
It was either go along with it or have my dick get pulled off, you know. So
You don't want that.
no, so I just had to go along with it.
That sounds like life.
Do testicles have the most intense brain connection of any organ? I mean, I don't know. I feel my spleen a lot. There's a good spleeny feeling I've got. If you're feeling your liver or your kidney, that's not a good sign, right? You feel your heart, but it does link to your emotions kind of directly. That's such a great quote. Kierkegaard's pretty great. People demand freedom of speech as a compensation for the freedom of thought, which they seldom use. I guess the stomach's an organ, huh? Anxiety is the dizziness of freedom.
I want to wrap you and swaddle you and hold you like a baby.
Sounds good.
Thanks.
I can just go to sleep like that.
Yeah.
Thinking is hard, and that's why most people judge. Well, I don't think judging's independent of thinking. Thinking is a judging function. And it's harder to say that FE and TE are meaningfully judging functions, but TI is definitely a judging function. So, Ian's being a little sloppy with his language there. Am I judging? Well, or am I thinking? You be the thought. So, let's go smoke a cigarette to celebrate this Disappointment Thursday. It's okay, Rachel. I'd forgotten I'd taken them until a second ago, but I just remembered that I did take a couple of mushrooms, so.
Yeah, you did.
That's a nice balm. I suspect it will be, I'm not saying it necessarily fully balming effect yet, but I kind of slid around when I came down the driveway in the snow here. Kind of want to warn Ruben in case that, like, hey, just to warn you, I was like more icy than I was on my way loft, I'm sure they'll be fine. You can see my tire tracks here. Coming down the driveway and going that direction. You're welcome. I know that was top on your list of things in life you wanted to see. It's a cool, brisk evening. Like breathing in through your nose, you really feel the coldness of the air. I feel the coldness of the air, and you know it's unfair when air is colder than your heart. So, I don't even know what I wanted the live stream about. Really. There are people for whom discussion predicates on defining terms so that work can be done. And there are people for whom discussion is an interface process, you know. There are people for whom discussion is an action process, either in terms of just like putting metaphysical objects or whatever. Responding to such. You know, stuff. Different stuff. You know how sometimes different stuffs are different from each other? That. Right there. On the nose. You got it. You articulated something we could all take home and put in the bank. It's chilly as a chilly mamili out here. Do you believe in the miracle of coldness? If so, why don't you join Society of Ice Holes today? Not unlike, but completely different from that horrible twin flames called Ice Holes imagines. Hold on a second. I gotta see something here. My bad. My bad. I just I signaled Corey earlier. He replied back, just some casual small talk, you know. So we're ice hole. Rachel and I are ice holes. If you want to be as good of a couple as me and Rachel, you need to take our seminar where we will teach you about the broken iceberg theory. Oh my goodness. Well, back inside where it's not freezing cold. It is quite chilly outside. As you can probably tell from, you know, the snow on the ground and stuff. Let's see what people say. I never found my swear word, my go-to word that conveys a feeling or thought and can be used to cuss someone out or something. Well, I think you should maybe go with the notion presented by that lady on Naked and Afraid. Biscuits and gravy. Biscuits and gravy is a pretty good curse word if you want to have a not too offensive curse word. Oh, biscuits and gravy. Um, that's a choice. You could also go with that famous saying from the TV show Alice, kiss my grits. which was said not by Alice, but by Flo. You could go with Barnaby's Bunions. Barnaby's Bunions is freedom is fake. Oh, cool. Thanks, Diamonds. Now we know. We know that freedom is fake. The thing is, when I ask a question like that, usually at this time, I have a straightforward answer to the question. Freedom is liberty plus money, and liberty is absence of external constraints on your capacity to act. These sort of questions are straightforward when you answer them correctly. I was inclined to put this to be the title because they're talking about freedom and flow state, and it's like I want to just butt in and say, here is the answer to all your freedom questions. But of course, they don't want an answer. They don't want the answer. They want a variety of answers, right? None of which is definitive. They're enjoying the process of talking. Well, sure, that's true, Winston's mom. The real question is, if you have that time, will you use it as you think you ought? And apparently, in my case, it's not yet. All right? That's the positive approach to it. It's not no, it's not yet. Freedom is fake, and faking is free. Free is fake, and fake is free. If you want to be free like me, then you better be a big phony.
That's so good.
Thanks. Okay. Well, I probably should step aside for a moment to reply to that, just because I don't know. I want to make sure I provide sufficient FE engagement that I don't seem rude or whatever. I'll be right back. Give me a second. I'm back. No, there's no drama on my phone. I'm just trying to engage with Corey so that there's not like so that I carry my FE into the load, you know. I initiated the conversation, but I'm live streaming right now. What I'll probably do the next time I communicate with him, or in a second, I'll say, I'll do the next time I communicate with him, or in a second, I'll say, step aside for a second and say, I'm live streaming right now. Aside for a second and say, I'm live streaming right now. So, hence my short responses. I think I'll just say that to him right now. We'll be right back. Everybody, just be patient for a second. Okay, I'm back. The goddess of sound, the goddess of the throat, and the goddess called Bhuvaneshwari. Bhuvaneshwari. Bhuvaneshwari is one of my favorite goddesses too. Bhuvaneshwari is the goddess of of emptying your body of waste products. Sometimes called the goddess of the bathroom. I would love to see a tiny little elephant. Well, if you're looking for things that are tiny and little, I'd look elsewhere than elephants, which are famously large. Corey, you know what Corey said in response to me informing him of that?
What?
Well, Rachel special. You do you. Thanks, Corey. I will do me. I always do me.
You do.
You know, in some sense, you might think that an ENTP is on some level doomed to not very good relationship with their own authenticities because of bipolar. But yeah, I think that's somewhat true. Maybe forever. You know, I mean, it's inevitably somewhat true forever, maybe. But I would also say that I feel like, you know, that I guess what I'm trying to say is that having a difficult relationship with your subjectivities, which include your sort of authenticity, in no way correlates to you necessarily being inauthentic. And in that regard, I think I'm pretty authentically me, if only because I'm not sure I can really be anything but, you know?
Yeah.
Listen, Mom, as far as I can tell, you are the only person here. Says there's one person here. Even though I'm watching it and Rachel's watching it too.
It says 11 on my screen.
Oh. It says 1 on mine. Oh, Diamond is here.
Oh, now it says 1. That's so weird.
It's probably getting mad about me, like, you know, stepping out for a second. Refresh your page. Maybe I should refresh my page. But, you know, I'm all out of Summer's Eve by Messingo. You are all part of a single mushroom colony. That makes sense. So, you know, some or many, some or several of you people don't count, clearly. And it's about time you start accepting that reality.
Aww.
Yeah. Maybe it's me and Rachel who don't count, because, you know, we're both here and it doesn't seem to be counting us. I think YouTube's just punishing me for my disconnect, reconnect thing. It's like, we don't like that. Stop doing that. And I'm like, fine, I'm sorry, but then let me multitask while I'm using your app. But it doesn't let me do that. It says, no, you can't do that.
Did you see Tiffany's cool visor?
Acacia made Tiffany a cool visor. And she also gave her an umbrella. Pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Pretty sweet. Like the sugary flavor of honey. It's also pretty sweet.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I'm not sure why why I'm so gushy over you right now. I feel so bad.
I appreciate your gushiness, my darling.
Good.
We are, after all, married spouses, bonded and bound by the laws of matrimonial oneness.
That's true. Meow meow.
The laws of matrimonial oneness state that Rachel and I are ice whole.
Ice hole.
No trouble.
Trouble.
Can you please not be such a big dick all the time?
Yeah, really. That's a great song for him.
Yeah. So I feel like I got playing music blue balled.
Yeah, you did. Got blue balled, and then they started playing country music instead.
I didn't hate the things they were playing. It was like, it wasn't just country, it was like obvious classic rock.
What?
Obvious classic rock. I guess when the ladies took over the jukebox, they did start with some country, but for most of the time you guys were outside, they were playing obvious classic rock, which is to say, like The Joker by Steve Miller. They played Hotel California.
Yeah, that was when we left. Yeah.
Okay. They played Sweet Home Alabama, I believe. Or was it Free Bird? It was one of those two. No, I ate at the bar. I had a full dinner. I had their barbecue pork sandwich. And I even made myself eat almost all of it. So I'm not hungry at all. I'm not feeling stomachy at all. I'm feeling fine. I am feeling like a little bit shroomy. Like it's starting to come on. I'm getting a little bit of
I'll go watch you.
a little bit of the drug sweats, you know.
Can I give you a kiss?
Mm-hmm.
I love you.
I love you too.
Whoa.
Hi, Corey Osborne. How are you? Good to see you. I was telling people before, I said, I think YouTube's punishing me because I had several like short disconnects in a row in order to quickly talk with you on Signal. So this is the person I was talking to on Signal. He's here, he's drunk, he doesn't want any more bears. So I took a couple of mushrooms not that long ago, and the mushrooms are making me a little bit less focused or gregarious than I might normally be. Also, I'm dealing with the disappointment of the canceled open mic. I was looking forward to it. I had kind of scheduled around it for a couple of days, and was kind of anticipating because it said it was a weekly thing. You know, it said that online. It also had a sign in the place that said it was Thursdays at 7 o'clock, but I guess they're not doing it in the winter. So there's been low turnout or something. It's been slow or whatever. So I found that pretty disappointing. But to balm my frazzled emotions, I decided to take a couple of little mushrooms tonight. And I really have come to enjoy the way I take mushrooms now, which is not super frequently and in small amounts rather than always like, let's see how many mushrooms I can eat. So I find they're good for my mental health, ultimately. But I was actually thinking about perhaps segueing into playing a couple songs on the guitar at some point because I didn't get a chance to play them at the open mic tonight. So I feel like I've still got my playing the songs load in my balls. It needs to be shot forth at some point. I'm sure it'll be a sad, pale comparison of what would be in front of a live audience. But nevertheless, compared to what it would be experienced as a live audience, really, not like, I'll obviously try just as hard. But there's something different about the energy in a room with live people in it, It can't really be mimicked when you're playing guitar on a live stream. Most significantly, of course, is the distinction is the opportunity to play for even a small number of people who never heard anything I've done before, or have no idea who I am, whatever. It's nice to have the reality where you have the element of surprise, The element of surprise it has good payoff potentially, if you do a good job. This is extremely exciting. What's extremely exciting? This live stream? Well, I wouldn't expect you to find this a very exciting live stream. It's not, this is sort of atypical because I'm not, I'm on mushrooms, so it's making me extra chill and stuff. I just haven't really kicked in, or I'm not gonna kick in super hard, I took a small amount of them, but the serotonin changes my mood a lot. So, I didn't tell you I was streaming because I wanted you to come here and didn't expect you would. But just wanted to let you know why I wasn't giving you more comprehensive answers. Okay, well, thank you, Corey. I love you too. Normally, it's a lot more combative around here these days, Not always, but there's been a string of live streams lately where it gets sometimes a little combative because, people say things that I disagree with or whatever.
Oh my gosh, you know what's hitting.
Yeah, I know. The thing is, I can tell it's hitting from my mood before I can tell from my head, really. Unless they go wrong for some reason, which every once in a while I guess they do. It depends how much of me do too. Um,
Yeah, the giggles, exactly though.
yeah, take what I can get, exactly. I don't think Corey's a big evolution fan, actually. I don't, I don't think he and I would butt heads on the topic of evolution at all. Corey, I will have to disagree with that point. It's not just one lie, okay? It's a whole bunch of different lies. So that's where Corey and I disagree. Corey thinks it's just a lie, but I think it's many different lies. Nerp.
It makes me think of Narmi.
Yeah. Narmi. Makes me think of Narmi and Rai Raru, and other such sounds. Well, it is a real distinction I'm making. Like, I think that evolution is a bunch of different explanations that don't work together, right? And so the first question anyone should ask about it is, well, which explanation of evolution do you prefer? Abiogenesis makes no sense. I mean, I agree with you that the idea of speciation occurring from, oh, I see two words. Okay. That makes more sense. Um, there's no doubt that speciation does not emerge from genomic change over time. I feel very certain about saying that. I don't worry that I might be proved wrong at some point. Not even a little bit.
I have the Uncle Cracker song stuck in my head.
What's Uncle Cracker song?
You know that song that goes, "Follow me, everything's alright. I'll be the one to tuck you in at night. And if you wanna leave, I can guarantee you won't find nobody else like me."
I do know that song now that you got through it. What a horrible song
I
it is.
know, it is a fun, isn't it? It's so
Aren't you?
horrible. You know what makes it even more horrible? It's about him basically like being a homewrecker. He's
Really?
like, "Come with me, everything's all right," but he's talking to a woman who is in a marriage.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I'm scared to even see if the karaoke that's supposed to be on Wednesdays is actually on Wednesdays, since we went to the open mic tonight and they're like, oh, we're not even doing it because, freedom popularly known as guns. No, I haven't answered the question, of course. It is not freedom, discuss. Freedom, what is it actually? Actually, freedom is liberty plus money. Liberty is the absence of external forces constraining you from doing what you want or exercising your agency. Well, I remember when I told Delilah to check out the new Johnny album. I told her, and then I checked back with her like once. Hey, have you listened to it yet? No. And then I just left her alone for a long time. Eventually, she checked it out.
Yeah, and she liked it.
She checked it out on her terms. I know Rachel's accent's adorable. It's very small, but very adorable.
It is very small. Thank you for thinking that it's very small, because I don't want to.
I most of all hear it. I don't know if it's New York or what. When you say Eric, you have a particular way of saying the word Eric that I really like how you say it.
It's
It sounds
like
great.
Eric.
No, I think I say it more like that. You say it more like. I'll just have to wait till you do it naturally.
Yeah.
You don't even know how you say it yourself. It's more like Eric.
Yeah. Capillo! Oh, hello, baby girl!
It's true, Corey does call me Derek.
Come.
Even though that's not actually my name.
Come. Mommy will guard you from trouble.
Hi, Capillo. Hi. You're so cold. I guess you're not wet, you're just cold. McDreamy if you're nasty. I don't mind you calling me Derek at all. It's never one time bothered me. It's never bothered me.
Oh yeah, Capillo is your wife's sister.
Yeah. We already know this.
No.
It's also my cat, our cat here,
Yes.
so.
Yes.
And yes, the cat is named after your sister. Your wife's sister. So,
I didn't name it. I had nothing to do with
I didn't
it.
name it either, so it's neither of our faults. You might say, Eric, how did somebody else name your cat? Well, that's what happens when you're the BPD person. Kimberly insists, made that her name.
She so did that on purpose.
Oh, of course.
Style.
Yeah, of course she did. It was horrible.
It is horrible.
But,
So you
and now we're
remember
stuck with it
Capillo.
forever, right? We're got this cat named Capillo forever.
It's not like I have I brought in a dog named Harris or something.
Right, I know. I know.
I don't know why. I don't think
Hey,
it's
it's
more.
better the cat's named Capillo than Kimberly.
Oh yeah.
Much better the cat's named Capillo than Kimberly. It just
Yeah.
says, if your dog was named, something other than Harris, I don't know, whoever else,
Yeah.
then
Meow.
Dude, I'm just realizing now the Capillo didn't just call you. What do you mean? I don't know what you're saying.
Meow.
Oh, you thought that's what was happening for a solid minute. That Capillo, your wife's sister, was calling me. No, it's she was talking to the cat.
Yeah.
Just, I get it. It could be easily enough confusing.
It must be very confusing.
But yeah, we were talking to the cat. And, people always often enough ask about the name too. Like, what is that name? I just tell them what it means. Like, that's Hawaiian.
She does mean she is a sweetheart
Yeah.
too.
I didn't name my cat that, Corey. Okay, I didn't name the cat that.
Kimberly did.
Kimberly did
Out of
as
spite.
this spiteful, shitty thing that she did, and it's like the name stuck. And once your cat's name's Capillo, it's Capillo. You stop remembering that it ever was anything else, or that there's this other person out there whose name is Capillo, right?
No, I never think of.
I did not name the cat after your wife's sister.
Trouble, stop looking so mad at your sister. Yes, I'm talking to you.
So yeah, but I think it's funny now. Really, I don't care. You know, it's like, well, periodically, I think it's funny every time I'm reminded if I talk to somebody from your family and the name of our cat comes up.
Meow.
Winston's one. Freedom means just leave me alone and I'll do the same. We can be friends unless you don't want to be my friend. And I'll just leave you alone and you can leave me alone. That's a pretty good definition. It's very specific.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Feels proud. Yes. Oh, yes.
Freedom doesn't exist. We were born without it. We don't get to decide how we look, how we talk, how our brains work. Well, I mean, freedom, does freedom now require that we've always been free? Like, what about when President Lincoln freed the slaves? Prior to being freed, they were slaves. But afterwards, they had freedom.
Yes.
What about that? Just don't let the state get involved. I mean, generally a pretty good rule. Well, I guess it's about that time. Time for a cigarette. So I think what I'm going to do today, this evening, on this occasion, it's a little bit different than what I did last time. I'm going to share my new strategy with you.
Ooh.
Instead of going outside where it's 31 degrees, our temperature, which frankly would require an additional jacket, I'm going to go into the garage, which is like outside, but at least 10 degrees warmer, probably more.
Corey, it snowed here.
Yes, Corey, it did snow here just a couple of days ago. So it was our first snow of the year, and it's pretty chilly outside. I brought the snow on the driveway, not lots, but it's still a decent layer of snow on the driveway, but there's not any on the roads. Let me see some on the side of the road a little bit where the snow plowed it. Only a little ways from here. Work, that's too low. Well, we're in the garage now. Thank God for a garage. I wonder what these pillows. What is all this stuff? Must be ribbon and acacia stuff. Why is it all here? What is it doing? I don't know. What are these things? Is someone sleeping in the garage? Maybe. Maybe they had a fight upstairs and needed more than the 2 rooms we afforded to them. So then one of them came out to sleep in the garage. No, I refuse to sleep on the same floor with you. I gotta go sleep in the garage. It'd be funny if one of them were sleeping in the garage for some reason. I'd be really curious about that. Maybe it's like the smell of cat litter, cat food, cat litter. Mix of the two smells, really. It's a delightful mix of the two smells. It doesn't smell that much like it in here right now, but the reason it doesn't because I don't know why. But I'm glad it doesn't. It's a bad smell. It's cold. That's what my hypothesis is to it. It doesn't usually really ever smell that much like it in here. Sometimes more than others. When it's colder, it smells less. That's why they tell you to cook apple pie instead of freeze it. To make the smells come out. Otherwise, it just smells like ice. It makes me think of a song that should be called I'm having dinner with Peter Dinklage on a Tuesday. It seems like it should be a song. I'm having dinner with Peter Dinklage on a Tuesday. That kind of a song, A kind of a slice of life narrative. The overall feel of which is kind of, and that's just how life is. One of those kind of songs. I'm not making something with the chord. I'm playing. You don't need to fiddle around with my playing. I know how to play just fine. I'm pretty good at it. Had years of practice. Although I will say that the scope of my play is sadly not emerged to where it once was yet. I hope to be more actively playful. But unfortunately, I'm not really creating anything right now. I've got a variety of things kind of simmering ideationally. I'm not sure what will be the catalyst to manifesting those things in some more concrete form than simmering notions. But right now I'm standing pretty pat on my existing work product. Well, one of the reasons why I was looking forward to an open mic. Pretty pleased with my the work product that I've already refined. And it's certainly to perform an open mic. That's not a very high bar, of course. But
Yes.
I figured I'd throw a cover in there even, actually. I got this cover I play that really produces a rollicking good time. I don't know how well I play it right now, because I'm not on just amphetamines, You might call me a rambling man, 'cause I do a lot of thumbing and I kick in cans, but it won't do an ounce of good to call me names. My daddy was a well-level drug. I wasn't born and raised in no ghetto. Just a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. I'm gonna find me a wealthy woman in the line of work. Don't take no form, so I ain't got much to lose and lost the game. You might call me a good time fella, but I ain't no black and I ain't no yellow. Just a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. I don't want no hands living, no more any party, anything they giving. I'm proud and mighty, got a song to sing. I said a few things and I'll admit it. If you wanna get ahead, you got to hold and get it. Just a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. Small town boy, been around a little, and I like the car and I like the fiddle, 'cause that's the kind of soul to defend my plane. Blue-eyed Billy, feared and ready, I got to work just to be somebody. Just a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. I don't want no handout living, no more any party, anything they giving. I'm proud and mine and got a song to sing. I said a few things and I'll admit it. If you want to get ahead, you got to hump and get it. Just a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. Well, I said a few things and I'll admit it. If you want to get ahead, you got to hump and get it. Just a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. That's a Merle Haggard song. Merle Haggard wrote that song. Yeah, I did an okay job of it. I kicked ass on it this morning when I played it, because I wasn't on mushrooms, which inhibit my ability to play it. But I was happy to have an opportunity to play it now. I'm feeling kind of like pouty, like, I don't even want to play anymore. But that's okay. That's why I took drugs instead. Because even though I didn't take a lot of them, it's enough to make a very notable head change. Like, it's a dramatic shift to my mood. And at this level of mushrooms, these mushrooms are really strong too. I just took like 2 little mushrooms. This level of tripping though, it's pretty predictable, pretty reliable. It's gonna make me feel more chill. Mushrooms at this level, you can anticipate they're gonna make you feel like, oh, whatever it is I'm worrying about is no big deal. overblowing concerns when I should be just enjoying being dumb. That's one of the things I like about mushrooms and also DMT. It's how it makes you feel dumb. It's like I used to sing, I have become comfortably dumb every time I smoked DMT. That's how I felt. At peace. It's all I need is some medically induced dumbness. Not that I think, on balance, dumb people are necessarily more at peace than smart people. Um, I think you're at peace or not somewhat in. It's a complicated equation, I guess. But I do think that for me, having less, having slower thoughts and stuff feels very peaceful in comparison to the normal, which is because it's like you think, well, fast thoughts are a good thing because your thoughts are going to move at some speed, regardless. Wouldn't faster be better? But it doesn't work like that. It's it lends itself also to an inherent lack of singular focus, I think. That's one of the changes I've experienced that correlates with my coma stage, you might say, is I used to refine my amount of focus into projects. My trouble was I couldn't seem to stick with projects that I couldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel. Like once a given project stretched on in its potential scope into weeks or months from start to finish, you started to get out of the range of possible things I could really see adequately to fall through to the end of it. But I've not experienced difficulty or just sort of a lack of interest in starting and finishing some of a multiplicity of smaller projects. I'm just not engaged that way right now for some reason. And I'm not even sure what to think about it exactly. I kind of seem to have operationalized this notion that that's how I should be. I'm not sure where and why I've normalized that. Don't normalize that. So I think good ideation makes your anxiety spicier. You're welcome. I flush because I don't like grossness in the toilet. Okay, so it doesn't matter if I pee or poo, I always flush. And request and recommend others visiting my home to do the same. Might be a good idea in theory to save water, but not that way. There are other ways to save water that are preferable. Otherwise, you're just making your toilet super gross and then you have to clean your toilet like many times faster. Not a good idea. Um, so, that's what's going on in Ericktown, which is, I get, somewhat probably directed to a Corey who's no longer here, but it was likely to be the topic of conversation anyway, given the role that like I was envisioning, perhaps like writing a little bit of action momentum from enthusiasm from going out and doing something like playing it open mic. It's not like it being open mic is a big deal. It's just the difference between doing nothing and doing something. Yeah, I'm just a white boy trying to do his thing.
Yeah.
Except I'm not a white boy, but I'm a fluidly transracial boy.
Trying to do the same?
Yeah, I'm just a fluidly transracial boy trying to do his thing. Trying not very hard to do his thing. Either just doing his thing like this, or failing to try to do his thing. So when I do try to do my thing and it fails, that's like, oh, but I finally worked up the effort to do something. Worked up the spiritual energy necessary and enthusiasm or whatever to do something. How dare you not work? And then you feel like singing that Jack Skellington song, Why does nothing ever turn out like it should?
That's a great example.
Yeah, that's a funny thing in that song. You can't make the dirty which is comforting. You can't make the dirty which is comforting? Black couches make you depressed? Well, these aren't couches, so good. These are chairs. You do tons of brain work. Well, I mean, I, it is not in no sane universe can I try to say that what I'm doing right now is work. Me live streaming and telling people things like, yeah, 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 is not work. It's something that I don't know what it is besides just live streaming, but it's definitely not work. It's conceivable that you could say to somebody else, you do that, and they'd be like, that's a lot of hard work. But you could say same thing about everything if you told them to do it, right? Like, if you were telling me to do this, then it would become work, right? But if I'm just the only one telling myself to do it, that's the difference between work and play right there. You know, play is what I only tell myself to do. Work is what other people tell me to do. Black couches do matter.
Black couches do matter. They hide cat scratches pretty well.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
About as well as can be hoped given
Yeah.
just how absolutely shredded they're getting by the cats.
I know.
I wonder what's going to happen when there's no black stuff left on it. We're going to have these horribly ugly patches on it or something.
No. Is that how we're gonna do it?
I don't know. What else are we going to do? We could.
That's it. Because
Yeah.
it's not fabric, you can't get like reupholstered, really.
Right. I don't know what's underneath here, but there's some sort of underneath here,
Yeah.
foam or something. And then eventually they're gonna get through it and get to the foam part, and it's gonna really look bad. The thing is, people want to say in response to this classic TE thing, get a scratching post or whatever.
Yeah, that's what they all say.
But the thing is, the cats have infinite things to scratch on already. They scratch their nails on the carpets, all throughout the house. They scratch their nails on the wood thing outside by the deck.
They do.
Yeah.
Oh my god, they have so many places to scratch. Where else do they scratch?
I mean,
They scratch the mattresses.
oh yeah. You mean the mats?
Yeah, like whatever is underneath the mattress.
Oh, you mean in the bed? Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
But they also
yeah.
do the mats. They scratch the mats,
Oh, yeah,
like the kitchen mat.
yeah.
You know, they scratch all kinds of shit. You know, so it's like, why is giving them one more thing to scratch gonna make them stop scratching this?
I don't know.
They don't have too few things to scratch.
I mean, honestly, Lou, at the point that it gets to be really bad, we might have to get a new couch, but I don't know how to get these things out of here.
I mean, it's like, you definitely need at least two strong men to lift one of these things up.
Yeah.
I can barely budge them, these two for things.
Yeah, however, I was no help at all.
It's also conceivable you can take them apart underneath on the frame.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. This one it seems to be attached here though too. I'm not sure. But
we'll deal with it when it comes.
Yeah, the thing is, these are really nice chairs. These are, I'm sure, very expensive.
Yeah.
And super cool. I don't want to be spending shit tons of money on equivalently good chairs. And I also don't want to get inferior chairs that we're just going to constantly think about how much we preferred our old chair.
Oh my god, yeah.
So probably we're going to end up doing some kind of half-assed fix it, like that gives them special collectible value, show media. Yeah, I get. Well, I mean, it seems like they have ones that meet their qualifications for acceptable things to scratch, in which case they scratch it, or things that don't meet their qualifications, in which case it's like the floor, and they can't scratch that. Basically, if they can scratch it, they will scratch it.
Yeah, they will.
The chairs are expressly and obviously bad things for them to scratch because their claws get caught in them.
Mm-hmm.
And yet that doesn't stop them from scratching them.
No, they love scratching him.
So obviously they're not making a very discerning distinction between that which they wish to scratch and that which they do not. Because remember, it's not just like you can establish some impact, you also have to factor in negligibility. Even if you can establish some linkage, if the impact in terms of total scratching to the chair either way is negligible, and there's no reason to articulate it. The term equates to the term's significance in debate. Well, I guess you could say the concept of negligibility manifests as the term significant and significance in debate, which is one of the stock issues an affirmation has to address in a complete affirmation.
Kujitsu, actually, they, especially Capillo, likes to scratch the couch. I mean, the rug. Like, before I was laying in bed because my ear was hurting me, and I heard her scratching the rug, and I knew it was her, not Trouble, because she does it a lot. She likes to scratch the rug. Trouble to do it here and there, but.
But if they didn't scratch the rug, they just scratch the chairs more. I don't care about them scratching the rug nearly as much about them scratching the chairs. I don't really care about them scratching the rug at all, frankly.
No, the rug is fine for them to scratch.
Now, why don't they just scratch that? And isn't that what they usually put on those scratching poles anyway? Is carpet?
It is, yeah.
So we already have plenty of carpet for them to scratch. And then you get into, well, you could try different surfaces on the scratching pole. Okay, now you've gone from a solution to have a pointless thing in your house that you have to do more things to test to see if maybe it's not pointless.
Those mats are fine for them. You know, the mats in the kitchen are fine for them to scratch too, because that's easy to repurchase.
Yeah, I don't care about things that we walk on.
Yeah.
They're welcome to scratch things that we walk on. I don't want them to scratch things that we sit on.
Yeah.
I think I should be able to convey this simple rule to them. Those experiments sound fun to you. That sounds miserable to me. Oh my God.
What sounds miserable to you?
Like getting a scratching pole, changing the materials on it, and testing the results. It's like, if you're gonna suggest a solution to a problem, it segues into having to apply the scientific method. I don't want anything to do with that. Okay. I thought you were solving my cat scratching problem. And now I'm doing a study on cat scratching behavior in different surfaces. That's not what I got this cat scratching thing for. So I could continue my research. Runs were anti-polar, leads to E astray, right? It's like, this is still a good idea. No, no, it definitely isn't. You're investing way too much time and energy into this object that you hope is going to be a solution to what's fundamentally a behavioral problem, you know? If we wanted to stop the cat from scratching the chair, we could get a squirt bottle and squirt them every time they do it, but it's like, who the fuck, Biden ESTJ, has this kind of diligence? Like, to accomplish these results, simply consistently train across a long period of time, making sure to catch them in the act every time. It's like, okay, fuck you. Sometimes I won't feel like strict enough to squirt the cat. You know, that's just how it is. Sometimes I will. And maybe if I had a squirt bottle, we could test this out. I don't know. That might be the sort of thing I'm not unwilling to test. I don't want another fucking object in the house. But I'm more willing to have a squirt bottle than I am a cat scratching post thing. What do they even call it? Scratching post, right? Scratching pole? What is this called? Scratch me, I'm lucky. Scratch me, I'm lucky should be the name of a brand of scratching poles. Meow! They show a kitty on the picture of it saying meow. But instead of saying meow, it says, scratch me, I'm lucky. And it's a talking bubble. See what I'm saying? So what I'm trying to get is they take a picture of the cat saying meow, but instead of it saying meow in the talk bubble, it says, scratch me, I'm lucky. And that's the product merchandising for this brand of cat scratching pole. What does everybody think? Are we all in agreement that it's a good idea? I think so. Let's start a GoFundMe page to start a new business. Scratch Me I'm Lucky brand cat scratching poles. See, with my brilliant advertising idea here, it creates a circle of scratching where the owner imagines that just as the cat is going to enjoy scratching the pole just as much as she enjoys scratching the cat. This is how you get in the mind of a consumer. This is why the big ad execs on Wall Street or on whatever street the ad people do have called me many times. Eric, we're desperate for a new ad for Burger King. I said, have it your way. Next they told us, Eric, they called me and said, Eric, we're desperate for a new slogan for Nike brand shoes. And I told them, just do it. And then last thing, never mind. Properly constructed, there'd be a third one It also featured a real company that said something ridiculous. But I got caught up thinking about the construction of it like that, abstractly, like what I was going to do. And then I just said, there's no point in even bothering to do it anymore. I don't know what I was going to say yet. I have no idea. Chevrolet cars. Run on with that feeling, baby. Here's what their motto might have been, you know? I don't know. Or how about this? You think you like driving? No, you don't. What do you think about that for Chevrolet cars? The challenge, right? The challenge is the reader. Yes, I do like driving. To prove it to you, I'm going to drive a Chevrolet car. The problem with that idea is that you could prove to them that you like driving in a car other than a Chevrolet. If Chevrolet were the only car company, that would be a great ad. You don't like driving. I do like driving, though. It says that in the ad. Colon. I do like driving, though. Underneath that is in big letters. Well, then you'll have to buy a Chevrolet. The only car company. Then that would make sense in that company. But in that situation, you still might want to have ads to boost sales, you know? It's conceivable. Would that boost sales? If you were in a market where you had a monopoly as a Chevrolet car company,
Oh.
would it boost sales to put an advertising campaign out that says, you don't like driving? And then underneath it, yes, I do. And underneath that, well, then you're going to have to buy a Chevrolet. Would that boost sales or would it inhibit sales? I'm not sure. This is a sort of hypothetical that's important to answer, but it's possible that we may never come to a firm agreement on it. Well, just because you have a monopoly on poo, Lou, doesn't mean you got buyers lining up down the street, right? You got a good supply of poo, but you don't have a good demand for it, right? So the point is, even if you have a good demand for it, like, there's plenty of demand for cars, you might want to aim at the persistent bus riders or whatever. I take a shot at the bus aficionados. What's your ad campaign, you know? Bus. It just sounds gross. That would be an ad in this particular marketplace, I think, as well. Yeah.
Bust, it just sounds gross.
Yeah. That would be better executed as a radio ad, I think.
Mm.
Bus. It just sounds gross. Just a quick, 5-second ad by the Chevrolet Corporation. Pop it in there in between other full price ads. It's a good bang for their buck.
Yeah.
Pushes people off of the idea that they could just ride the bus. With gas prices and all.
Yeah.
But, car companies could do that now. But the reason they don't is because no single car company wants other car companies to benefit from their anti-bus.
Anti-bus.
campaign.
Even Johnny took the bus.
You weren't super following the conversation? You weren't super following our conversation? Wow. You really missed out. The point is that the Chevrolet car company, never mind. You just won't get to have a full understanding of what I was saying, Lou. And you're going to have to be okay with that. So, now I really like the idea that Lou's apologizing for not being helpful in that conversation. I don't know how you could be either helpful or not helpful in that conversation. Oh. Well, that makes more sense. But you probably were just intuiting that in some way that I was relying on you for your help there. Tiffany's right over there, actually. She's alongside Ruby, and both of them are prepared for rain.
Oh, that's what they're prepared for?
Yeah, that's why they got those umbrellas.
Oh.
Tiffany's double prepared for rain. She's got a visor and an umbrella.
So are they in like Florida?
Well, I mean, I'm not even sure they know where they are. It's just they had some sort of conversation about these umbrellas, such that I don't really come in very good, huh? Maybe it's just my eyes. Basically, Tiffany saw Ruby holding an umbrella, and then all of a sudden, Tiffany found an umbrella and a hat, because that's better than just an umbrella.
So I was thinking the same thing. When he says Ruby, it makes me think of when you call Ruben Ruby.
No, she's named Ruby because that's her birthstone.
That's her birth name?
Her birthstone.
Oh, it's a birthstone?
Yeah, her mother named her after her birthstone.
Hey, Eliana Diaz.
Every time I say the name Ruby, I think, Ruby, Ruby, when will you be mine? I mean, that's the kind of the end, not the actual melody too part at the end. But regardless, a girl and Ruby was her name. Ruby, 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 baby. Can't love her, but you love me just the same. Right. She don't love me, but I love her just the same. So, oh, I want her. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow. Ruby, Ruby, when will you be mine? That song. That's what I think of when I hear the song. When I hear the name Ruby. I still think of that song, even though I actually had an assistant back when I worked at the county in Ruby. She was so dumb. She was like one of the dumbest people I've ever met. Well, she and I worked together just fine, you know.
That's good. Was she the ESFP?
No,
Oh.
she was definitely not an ESFP. I don't know what type. I never really thought about her type before.
I wasn't trying to imply that.
Well, she was. I don't know. Maybe ISFP. But I don't know what type she was. I would not say she seemed like an extrovert. I never thought about it before. I haven't thought about her in a long time. But anyway.
Oh yeah, 'cause I was mixing her up with another like person that you talked about.
Yeah, she was just it's not like she was just an assistant I had at work, right? So.
She was one of the dumb people.
But she was one of the dumbest people ever. Really? She has a certain way of talking. It was just like, okay, when she tell me, I saw this thing on TV. I saw it. But she was fine as an assistant. You know, she didn't complain when I take long lunches and stuff, so.
That's good.
Tiffany is the queen of the almond milk industry. Good point, Eliana Diaz. You make a good point. The almond milk industry should hire Tiffany as their spokeswoman.
She should. The only thing is that she would probably could also mention ants and sand.
Yeah, she'd be a great spokesperson for almond songs.
But she drinks all.
Are you thirsty for something now? Try almond songs.
Are you hungry? Are you thirsty for some almond milk?
No, that would be a different ad campaign. Okay. Are you thirsty for something new? Is the slogan for ants and sand. for almond milk, the slogan is
They have like multi clips of her like just chugging down almond milk and demanding almond milk, more almond milk.
Screaming at like some Korean lady at a mini mart. They cut ahead and show her walking out of the place with a big bottle of vodka. I know how I'm a box of vodka. Are we truly free if we can not no longer have almond milk? It depends why we can't have it. If we can't have it because the government prevents us from having it, then that makes us a little bit less free.
Meow.
If we can't have it because it's just like the companies that make it go, well, nobody really likes this shit, so let's pack it up, everybody. Then, I mean, I think the difference is if it's the government preventing us from having almond milk, then in theory we could make our own almond milk.
Totally.
I mean, I'm sorry, if the government's preventing it, then in theory we can't make our own almond milk either because we'll get in trouble, right? Whereas if the companies just stop making the almond milk because they're just going out of business or whatever, then in theory we could make our own almond milk and not get in trouble. Now, in practice, in both circumstances, we could make our own almond milk. And in neither circumstance would we. So there's that to factor into this question. But it's an important question. It is an important question. Does our overall freedom and liberty predicate on access to almond milk?
Mm.
I would say yes and no, but also maybe.
Mm.
Oh, that's a useless answer.
And look up your straw.
Yes and no, but also maybe is the most useless answer you could give to a question.
Yes.
Yes and no, but also maybe.
Yes and no, and also maybe. What else?
Nobody could ever be satisfied with that answer to any question. Unless the question was phrased like this: is the sky blue? Is the grass red? Are you gay?
Yes.
And no, and also maybe. If the question were phrased like that, then you could explain that answer because those answers fit with the questions. That would really be three questions, not one. The government has secret agreement with the Bigfoots. I don't think the government has an agreement with the Bigfoots. I think the government is viewing the Bigfoots. I think they're conflicted about them. Half the government thinks the Bigfoots are an animal nuisance problem. The other half thinks they're an animal protection thing. We need to protect the animals, you know. And the third half of the government thinks that they're aliens and we should delegate the decision to the Space Force. Regardless,
I love you too, baby.
I believe that the government, on balance, doesn't believe in Sasquatch.
Mm.
I think that's one of the biggest problems with our government today, is that they're Sasquatch deniers.
Well, that's all I asked.
How are we going to get anywhere in the global economy Our government's filled with a bunch of Sasquatch deniers.
Oops. Oh yes.
Or as I like to call it, Sasquatch phobia. A pathological insistence in denying the existence of Sasquatches was rooted in a deep fear stemming from not having a good relationship with their father. Well, Kojitsu, if that's the case, then why are there so many Sasquatches? Have you thought about that, though?
That's a great question.
If that's the case, then why don't people take more clear photos of them?
It's true.
It's easy enough to take a clear photo of a guy in a fursuit. Sasquatches are more, what's the word? Runaway than that. You can't pretend to be running away in a fursuit when you're actually running towards. Obviously. You can't pretend to be 8 foot tall when you're actually only 7.5 foot tall. You can't pretend to weigh those 6 inches. But I do believe, one thing I do believe in is that there are a fairly mysterious population of 7.5 foot tall men who have kind of like this cult of Sasquatch imitation. They make all their own suits and everything. Some people say they number in the hundreds or even thousands, and they trace their roots back to old Knights Templar people, A lot of the Masons, but it's more secret than that. A lot more secret. Apparently, to even get in it, you have to be selected from an already secret tribe of ultra tall and hairy guys, They don't have to do that much supplementation to make themselves really look like Sasquatch to begin with. And the leader of the organization is brutal, merciless, but highly effective, obviously, And the strange thing is, nobody among them knows why they're doing this. They don't even have any explanation that they go to. They just submit to the brutal rule of the Lord Sasquatch. They learn quickly enough to ask no questions. And it's not clear even if people in our government know what's going on, Have our CIA figured this out yet? Am I the only one who sees the truth? I mean, I know that sounds hard to believe, but I think in this case, I am the only one who sees the truth. There exists a very secret, probably Masonic cult of Sasquatch impersonators populated exclusively by giant men over 7 feet tall are naturally very hairy. And they are responsible for all the Sasquatch sightings because that's what they do. People often ask things like, well, how do they keep everybody doing that and not going public? Well, same way North Korea does, you know? Abject brutality. That's when the whole story of the fake Sasquatch cult really goes from humorous to dark. But that's part of what makes it so true as well. You know something's true and right when after you hear it, you say, oh, that explains so much. It really does explain literally so many, so many instances of Sasquatches being spotted. It explains it all. Given their high level of militarization without, actually implementing weapons in their day-to-day business, it's a fairly unique cult in that fashion. I guess one thing it shares in common with Judaism is they don't try to convert you. They're definitely not trying to convert you. They're just trying to fool you. Converting you runs exactly opposite to that mission, Of course, over the years, they've kind of begun to blend actual and reality. There's the truth and the fakeness they're presenting. So now most of them even talk like Sasquatches most of the time, which is kind of like cavemen. They Sasquatch don't talk like caveman. Sasquatch don't speak caveman. Sasquatch talk normal. Like that kind of, That's how Sasquatches talk. You make fun Sasquatch racist. Sasquatch, you're not a race. Oh, Sasquatch. Oh, very much race. No, Sasquatch, I'm telling you, it's about the fact that you plagiarized all your shit. Okay? It has nothing to do with the fact that you're a Sasquatch. That's it. That's a borderline joke, sir. But very topical. Well, I guess Rachel went to bed or something? It's like completely silent in the house. It's like I went outside for a cigarette, came back in, and everyone had disappeared. Makes me wonder if I pass through some kind of alternate universe, just portal where everyone's gone. Like the start of a TV show, Korean TV show or something, you know. Oh, this for sure. I come back inside, everyone is disappear. Like that. And then it's a very short and dull show. It turns out that the only person who was missing was his wife, and she had just gone to bed. So, you know, it's. I got to tell you, Rachel, much to my surprise, 'cause I got a super good night's sleep last night. And been getting good sleep, and uh, got up on the later side today. Waited till the later side to take the Adderall, and then I even took a booster one at like 5 p.m. I'm much to my surprise feeling quite tired. Well, I can tell you, having Corey here made me feel kind of uh, like I had to factor various things in that I normally don't have to factor in. And making decisions about what, you know, like what to say, what to, yeah. Because of the fact that he's likely to sort of, well, just because I guess of how I understand certain things is likely to elicit certain kinds of responses. Because, you know, our relationship's a little touchy. Um, I I both don't want to like trigger certain kinds of responses, nor do I want to um, it's like I know certain waters he's likely to be more fighty than others, you know. I'm trying to avoid fightiness. It made me like very kind of extra slow to speak because I'm having to consider a bunch of like effy things that I normally don't consider. I could say FI things because I care about him and don't want to cause him unnecessary discomfort. I don't know. If those investigating Sasquatch sightings teamed up, they could be called Sasquatch. You mean the Sasquatch investigators oversight board? AKA Sasquatch. Go Jitsu, that's absolutely fantastic. You get not one, but 2 wonder points for that because it's Thursday, so they're not doubled. So it's like getting 1 wonder point on Wednesday. But you deserve 2 wonder points for it. Even if it were Wednesday, I might have given you 200 points, even knowing they'd be doubled to 4. I might have. But it's Thursday, so I can safely give you 200 points and not have to worry about them being doubled, and thereby causing inflationary pressures on the Wonder Points economy. I don't want to cause any Wonder Point inflation. No, he doesn't. Listen, Mom. He, if anything, seems to enjoy it. I don't know if I would say he enjoys it, but if anything, he seems almost compelled to do so. But uh, well, that's how FI works. It doesn't have to be fair. And it gets to be subjective. So, you know, you could frame my decision to prioritize being a good friend to him as any number of things, potentially. But, you know, it's important to remember context. You're not talking to somebody who lets himself get pushed around normally in any way, shape, or form. So it's, and, you know, the thing is, it's a growth process for me to not push back, to not win, you know? That's what makes it worth doing, in part, I guess. I don't know, it's hard to explain FI. It doesn't explain well. That's why it's so dumb. No, I'm just kidding, FI. Yeah, it's like when I'm talking to that FI or whatever, people always think I'm talking about them. I'm talking about FI, what do I think about it? I'm talking about me. I think, it's okay, little Eric. Everything's fine. It's okay. That's what I think about FI. Whatever your FI is, obviously, I have no idea what your FI is. When I talk about FI as an object of analysis of a function or something, I'm not talking about you, even if you are an FI type. Sometimes when I talk about certain types, then I may be talking about you. But in those instances, hopefully I'm talking about types responsibly so that I don't have anything to regret about what I'm saying about you. Sometimes I don't, and, you know, it's fair for people to bust my chops about that. You know, obviously, for me, what matters most is that I care. With my emotions. Right here. Good. I care with my emotions right here. Okay? I care so much that I don't even know what we're caring about. Doesn't even matter. I'm not sure how we got to this spot in the conversation, but the point is, I care a lot. Okay. So the problem you're having clearly links to your failure to understand how much I care. And I think we can say that's probably the answer to a lot of questions. What's wrong with me? Well, maybe you're not focused enough on how much Eric cares. If you were more focused on what a caring person Eric is, then you wouldn't be so all selfishly caught up in your own shit, you know? Remember, caring about Eric, he's caring about people. How can you care more about people? Care more about me caring. It's the best way because I'm kind of like that guy with that magical gaze. Who's that guy with the magical gaze? He gazes at people for money. This gazer guy. Remember that guy? His job is he gazes at people for money. Like, really? Are you sure you're not just looking at them? Can we, how certain are you? How can I be sure if I purchase this product that I'm truly getting a gaze and not just a regular look? I want to know because if I'm gonna buy a gaze, I want to be able to tell my friends and family, no, I tested it. It was definitely a gaze. He was not just looking at me. Because, you know, if I paid to have somebody look at me, I feel pretty dumb. That is hilarious. People pay some other person to look at them. Like, what kind of insanity is that? And what's going on here? Oh, it's Ruben and Acacia. I forgot they weren't even here. They weren't here this whole time. For some reason, I was thinking they'd come back with Rachel. Even though the truth is, uh-oh. Good. I'm glad he didn't slide into the thing. Rachel came back with me, obviously. How could they come back with Rachel or Rachel come back with them? They weren't even here. Well, I was wrong about that this whole time. I thought they were here but upstairs or something. I don't know what I was thinking. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I thought they were here and upstairs and just quiet. And then, you know, earlier when I was like, okay, I came in and it's like all of a sudden there's nobody here. I was still thinking that they were here, they're just upstairs. So I was like, well, I mean, you know, Rachel wasn't here. I know it was downstairs. I was still thinking they were upstairs. But they weren't here this whole time. What do you know? Sometimes life surprises you like that. Even when it shouldn't. Because I knew they didn't come here at the same time we did. And the strange intuitive leap I had made, therefore, to create the idea that they were here now was that they had come back with Rachel. Even though she came back with me. Sometimes intuition does that, you know, it fills in gaps while you're ignoring it. Which is what you do if it's in the fifth slot. You ignore it. And just assume those things are correct. That was clearly something I had intuited and was not trying to remember accordingly, right? Like, I knew they were here. And so I didn't think, like, well, how could they be here? They left after us. When did they get home? I just thought, oh, I didn't think this. It just sort of intuitively happened. Therefore, Rachel must have come with them because they must be here because Rachel's here, and Rachel left with them, so she must come back with them. And this is a rare instance, actually, I can come up with a good example of when I NI'd when I should have SI'd. I can come up with multiple examples of when I SI when I should have NI'd. But I can't come up with any examples of where I NI'd when I should have SI'd. This is a great one. It's a great example of 4-slot SI, like saying, I don't need to remember things. Who needs memories? So, I don't like these outside lights being on very much at night, really, because I know that I don't really like it when other people have their outside lights on. I like the dark, basically. But, I've noticed it's too soon to like the outside lights on. I don't know if they think they should be left on or they just like to have things lit up out there. I don't know if you turn them off this time. So, what I suspect is on the initial occasions, they're taught like this garage light is probably supposed to be on or something. It doesn't really matter to me or anything. It just kind of bugs me when the outside lights are on for some reason. it's like counterintuitive to go out to the woods and live and then light up the outside. Don't you live in the woods because you want to be in the forest rather than in the city? Look, these dummies down the street put these like, street lamps in front of their house. You dummies. What an ESTJ move. Sorry, ESTJs. But that's a straight up ESTJ move. Although, I gotta say, one thing about this house that I like, but it seems like an ESTJ move anyway, is the parking. Like there's parking for an RV. It took me a while to determine that's probably what this whole parking thing is about, really, is it's designed to accommodate an RV. But what could be more ESTJ thing or ESFJ thing than to have a house, a Yosemite, and an RV? What are you gonna do? Are you gonna go camping in some other woods in your RV? It's like, oh my god. There's such a thing as overkill, you know? I live in the woods and I mostly stay inside. like like a normal sane person would, right? I almost always stay inside. I mostly come outside to smoke cigarettes occasionally. And you know, give the friends cutlets, but I'll admit I've been a little sparse in my cutlet distribution the last few days because, well, I forgot to get more cutlets last time I went to the store. So, you know, probably will need to go to the store for food again pretty soon. You know, Ruben, in case you buy some of their own food, we encourage them obviously to eat whatever. So, I don't know how much or what they're eating, but it would make sense that we go through food a little faster. Of course, Acacia doesn't eat any meat, so we don't have that much stuff that doesn't have meat in it. You know, we do have these uh, frozen cheese pizzas, but whatever we have that doesn't have meat, obviously, we're not going to do it. I'm not gonna go like buying Morningstar patties or whatever, but boy, I got the serious tired. Boy, I tell you, sometimes the right amount of mushrooms, the right time, a real game changer. Like I used to kind of buy into the notion that doing mushrooms periodically was good for my mental health. I kind of got away from that notion. But I find myself returning to it. Like, you know, laughing about silly stuff on mushrooms is very much the kind of playful experience I'd like to see more of in my life. I mean, I just want to do more mushrooms. Keep in mind, I'm saying that I'd like to have more kind of actively fun, positive things. Replace some of my current regimen of heavy TV watching and endless live streams. Like, this wasn't just a live stream, right? The live stream was secondary to this. Because what this primarily was, for me, was taking mushrooms. Which I must say, as in previous experiences with these mushrooms, taking a small amount of them made me trip much harder than I expected again. But I would say this time, so it's like my expectation hasn't adjusted or whatever. I just look at the amount of mushrooms and be like, well, that little amount of mushrooms can't possibly make me trip, really. But, your head gets clean again after a while. And with the frequency and intensity with which I'm taking them right now, like, dirty head's not a problem, you know. So, in other words, translate that to I have no tolerance. I just have a very experienced head, you know, which is not the same thing as tolerance at all when it comes to psychedelics. You eat mushrooms all the time, you have to eat a lot of mushrooms. When you don't eat them very often, you have to eat a couple of mushrooms. I was really originally planning on waiting until either we all wanted to take mushrooms or Ruben and Keisha wanted to take them or whatever, but I I guess I don't really necessarily treat drugs as social things. I treat them as me dealing with my head, you know. An experienced had a low tolerance Eric story. The thing is, I think what you see in me in general is that I don't know. I don't know if I'm necessarily an exception or not, because the exceptions in this case wouldn't stand out, right? But there is this stereotype that's also been validated by plenty of examples, probably for other people besides me, but certainly for me, of like somebody who's done a lot of psychedelics and is really like out there, like it's kind of lost it. But I don't seem to suffer from that at all. The thing to note, of course, about that is you notice the ones that stand out from normal people, and the linkage may be like clear cut, but there's probably a lot of other factors that, or maybe other factors that people haven't considered. I'm not sure. The point is, I don't know ultimately if I'm different in that psychedelics didn't make me all weird or something like that, or if I'm not different, but we only notice the ones, the exception is not the commonality. But I mean, intuitively, we can sort of feel how there might be a linkage between like psychedelic usage and perpetuating certain kinds of anti-overreach and kind of like this self-fulfilling death spiral of mysticism and wrongness. But I guess what I'm getting at is I think some people are less susceptible, potentially, according to type, to some of the less desirable correlates that typically have seemed to go along with like heavy or extended psychedelic use. Of course, I'm not doing much acid either. Acid's a lot stronger. It's a lot more serious a drug than, not necessarily stronger, right? It depends on dosage and stuff like that. But it's a lot more serious drug to take the mushrooms because, first of all, the quantities you're taking are measured in micrograms. So dosage is a big deal, right? It's like, just like you don't want to take, instead of 2 Tylenols, accidentally 20 Tylenols, you'll die. Well, it's like the effective dosage and between like a good tripping balls and oh my god, I wish I were dead is like all under a milligram, right? If you get 900 mics, you're gonna be wishing you were dead. If you get 250, you're going to be tripping hard, you know? If you get 100, you might not feel anything. This is tricky business with acid, accordingly, right? This is all, you haven't even reached a milligram yet. So that's why acid's scary stuff. Because it's not like you're getting precisely measured dosages from a pharmacy. Meanwhile, mushrooms are inherently unscary for the same reason. It's like, even when I fuck up royally, I take half an ounce of them that I've not tried before, so I don't have any idea how strong they are, right? On a clean head, mixed with ample Vyvanse, the worst thing that can happen is I have a short-lived psychotic break which can be cured with a hypoclonidin. Not so bad, really. That's not so bad. If you take like way too much acid, I mean, that's a very bad thing. Acid lasts a super long time. And you don't want to be that insane for that long, no matter what you think. Like any other drug, if you substantially overdose on it, it's not good for you, right? Acid's not good for your consciousness, sense of self, mental health if you substantially overdose on it. It may not be bad for your physical health, but it's definitely not good for your ontology. Um, Whereas, my one memorable bad experience with mushrooms really that was memorably bad for me was the duration of the whole thing was at most like 8 hours. You're still rolling up to the peak if you're taking too much acid. I mean, you're peaking. You're full blast starting to peak at 8 hours if you're taking way too much acid. Not that I've taken it over way too much, but I've tripped way too hard before for way too long. I don't know how much it was. That's the trouble with acid, right? It's pretty miserable. Well, that's what things are for, Ruben. That's what things are for. And I believe that's what that song was about, right? That's what things are for. We're paid together in love and kindness. Yeah, 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 yeah. Well, this is why Kojitsu. I don't ever take mushrooms unless I'm also on amphetamines. Because then I basically don't experience all the bad serotonin overreach that mushrooms will have otherwise. Like, I don't want to be all super yawny and my nose running the whole time and I'm not sure if I'm up or wanting to go to bed or some weird combination of the two. Yeah. Oh, fine, Ruben. That's fine. I was curious earlier as to which one of you was sleeping in the garage because I noticed you had apparently you, unless Rachel put those out there, put a couple of pillows in the garage. I was curious as to what you were doing. You know, like they don't appear to be our pillows. I mean, not that I can necessarily identify all of our pillows on site by sight. You know, if you put one of our pillows in a lineup of other pillows. I'm not sure how well I'd be able to identify my own pillow. You need a third room. That's what I was saying. They need a third room. That's exactly what I said earlier in this dream when I was discussing this very matter. It's like, I'm so mad at you. I refuse to sleep on the same floor with you. I'm going to the garage. I also hypothesized maybe that one of you just liked the smell of cat poo. Cat poo and kitty litter, you know. I just picture like in the middle of the night, Ruben sneaking downstairs, open the door to the garage, sneaking going, and then just lying down on his pillows and just smelling the cat poo smell. Oh. Can't you just picture it, Rachel?
Yeah.
Now I'm really curious about whether I could pick my own pillows out of a pillow lineup. Probably starting now, I'm going to pay a lot more attention to what my pillows look like in case I'm required to do so at some point. It's like, how embarrassing would it be if you get called down to the police station to rescue your pillow and you get there and you can't even tell which pillow is yours? They wouldn't think you were a very good pillow owner. They'd give you one of those looks, you know? Down to the cop station. You can't identify your own pillow. I'm surprised that I managed to get all the way to the cop station after getting a phone call that they need me to come rescue my pillow. And at no point between that phone call and the cop station did I say, wait a second. My pillow's gone? I had no idea. Who took it? Why did they imperil it? Oh my God. Oh. gross things makes me gross. I get gross things coming out of me, and then I do gross things with those gross things. You know. But it's a fair price to pay for hilarious things. Wait a second. My pillow's gone? It did not occur to me. Anytime between my house and the police station, I guess I must have checked at home before I left and confirmed that yes, my pillow's gone. I guess the police must have said to me, so I'll explain when you get here. I don't know. I don't know how I just find myself driving to the cop station to retrieve a pillow, but I do like my pillow. Fine, I don't have any objections to it. I don't even have any particular pillow that's my pillow. Rachel and I think our pillows on the bed are interchangeable. Except gradually they're all mine. I keep increasing the total number of pillows I need because the pillows get flatter. So yes, I need a knee pillow, but I also need 3 pillows for behind my head now instead of 2 pillows. So when Rachel's not looking, I just steal one of her pillows. And then she'd be like, can I have another pillow? Oh, my bad, I'm sorry, I have 3 of them. Oh, look at that. I think that we might have now, in fact, we may even have 5 pillows plus the knee pillow. I don't even know if I have to steal her pillow anymore. I could be legally in possession of 3 pillows and assuming I'm a thief, when really I've now allotted 3 pillows. It's possible. When I think about it, I'm not sure. There might be 5 pillows on the bed. I think it seems like there should be at least 5. I can think of 3 easily. So there's probably at least 2 I can't think of. That's my reasoning here. But even when I have 3 pillows, sometimes it's like, that's too much pillow. You have to have just the right amount of pillow. It's hard to find. To get the right amount of pillow, if you're right between 2 and 3 pillows, like 3 pillows is probably too much, 2 pillows is not enough. Well, you got a tough choice to make. Do you fluff your 2 pillows, or you try to flatten your 3 pillows? Probably flattened is better. Things flatten better than they fluff. But some kinds of pillows flatten more than others. The down pillows they tend to get into a ball, you know? You gotta kind of flatten them out again. But the regular pillows, whatever they call them, not down pillows, the ones that don't have a bunch of little feathers in them, those ones, they don't really get a lot more or less flat. They're kind of however flat they are, you know? You can't really flatten them that much. Which is fine. I don't expect things. I don't expect the things flattenability. You know, things can still be my friend even if they don't flatten. Can you make yourself flatter? No. Oh, I'm sorry, you're not flat enough. Yeah, I'm not flat at all, actually. I'm totally three-dimensional. I'm totally three-dimensional. And another one of my big claims to fame, like, I was a live birth. I was a live birth and I'm totally three-dimensional. I guess people might dispute that and I say, Mark, in terms of a character build, you're pretty two-dimensional. I need to see more reality, more real depth to your character. You're not adequately conveying verisimilitude. What? Oh, I'm sorry, Charles. Did I startle you in the middle of all your pain? He just like, he jumps off and there's little splatters of pee on the ground. I didn't mean to startle you. You should have been paying better attention, I guess. And you wouldn't have been so startled. I feel like an old man going around turning off the lights. But I feel better because it's not because I'm trying to save electricity. It's just because I don't like having lights on. I like it to be a very specific amount of darkness. Like in this room, we normally have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different levels of light we could build on if we just were going in one direction, like more light, right? We could turn on this one, that one, this one, that one, because that one has like 2 settings. We could then also open like the shade during the day or something. But I tend to like it with just one of these lights on. But that one over there will reflect off the screen. This one doesn't. But depending on what I'm doing or watching or what's on the screen, the reflection from over there may or may not bother me. But I guess what I really like is having a lot of different lighting options. one of the problems we have is that the pillows go down behind the bed thing, and even if they don't go all the way down behind it, they fill the hole that's making so that. Of course, the easy solution to this is to push the mattress back up all the way, right? But I don't even know how long, how long we just, I haven't even really thought about it. I have at least on one or two occasions before, like, oh, I need to push the mattress up all the way. But it's like, how long have we just been half-assedly dealing with this instead of fixing it? I can't, months at least, right? Maybe the whole time since we've been here, I don't know. Could have been our whole time here. Have we been struggling with this problem that can be solved by me pushing the mattress up? Well, that's what you call unconscious TE. Well, we're looking forward to playing it. I know that Ruben and Acacia they like games, you know, and I like the idea of playing this game for sure with Ruben and Acacia and Rachel and me on live stream. I don't want to know about it ahead of time, really. I want to experience it live. So, I get it. I get the general theme of it is Mad Magazine, but I don't know anything else about it at the moment. And I like that idea of, you know, coming to it raw. I mean, if it's a link of the game, I don't want to watch it. Um, so anyway, it's about time for me to go to bed. I can feel the tiredness hitting me like an avalanche of tires. So at the same time, it wouldn't shock me if I like get up after like 4 hours of sleeping, because I do have more amphetamines in my system than usual. Well, yeah, my yawns have been known to pixelate things. Anyway, thank you all for being here. You are my hero, and I'll see you again in not a super long time.